Hey everyone, thank you very much for joining. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes for to make sure everyone has a chance to join, and then I will make a start. Okay, so thank you very much for everyone for joining today. Today we're giving an update on the land-based T levels and the development of the technical qualifications within these. So today's webinar is going to actually cover a recap of the purpose and the vision of the T levels, the high-level structure of the land-based T levels and the technical qualifications within them. And then also I'm going to give a progress update for the TQs and the land-based T-level project team. Just to note, this webinar is being recorded and it will be published on the City and Guilds website after it's finished. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat function and these will be answered offline to create a FAQ document that will also be published on the Land-based T levels webpage. And there's the link below. So just to give you a quick overview of what the difference is between a T level and an apprenticeship. Both are based on the employer set standards, but they are designed to suit different learning styles. The apprenticeships are paid work and suitable for learners who know exactly which occupation they want to pursue, and they also want to training on the job effectively. Where T levels are actually they're largely classroom based, and they have broader content and students specialise later in the programmes. The apprenticeship content is narrower and focused on the specific occupation from the outset. T level is going to be the new gold standard in technical education, and they're intended for 16 to 19-year-olds leaving school for technical education. Just to really reiterate the point that technical qualifications and T levels, they are employer-led. So this means employers play a really key role in amplifying the content, the knowledge and the skills, also then validating any contents developed, supporting and providing evidence and validation of any changes that are needed, and then also developing and validating the assessments. If you're not already involved with the technical qualifications and the T levels and you would like to be involved, there is a link which is on the slide there, and I will also be circulating that to everyone who's attended today after the meeting. So for those who are new to T levels, this is just a diagram that actually shows the overall composition of a T level. So T levels, they are made up of a core content, which is graded A star to E, and it will cover the concepts and theories, and it's assessed through an externally set and marked exam, and then also an employer set project. The occupational specialisms are graded past merit to distinction, and it's based on occupational maps. They cover the practical skills and knowledge in a specific specialised occupational area, and they are assessed through a synoptic assignment, which is covering all the practical skills and applied knowledge. Then within the overall T-level composition, you will find that everyone has to do an industry placement, which is a minimum of 45 days. Then there's also the maths and English requirements, and then also the tutorial and employability, enrichment and pastoral hours, which is all provided by the centre. So for land, there is a common core which goes across all the occupational specialisms. Then after that, they will pick whether they go down to the animal care and management or the agricultural land and production T level. And then within those, there's the occupational specialisms. So this slide demonstrates the agriculture, land management and production. So say everyone does the same core, and then within that they will pick either crop production, forestry, livestock production, habitat management, horticulture, trees and woodland, or land-based engineering. Then you have your animal care and management T level. So then everyone does the core, which again is the same core as within the lands and production TQ. And then candidates will either pick animal care and management, or they will do equine care and management. So now I'm going to go through the progress updates that have been made so far since we started developing the technical qualifications, which was back in October 2021. So we had our first milestone to submit all the amplified content and evidence through validation to the Institute and Ofqual for feedback. That submission was made at the end of January, and we are now going through the feedback that we have received from the Institute and Ofqual. For the core, I'm now going to go through some specific changes that have been made to certain areas of the TQs. In the core, some of the outline content has had minor changes, with some of the elements have moved into the occupational specialisms. This was seen as that they needed to be delivered in context, or because they have a more practical approach. We are now working with the Institute and Ofqual to actually come up with the assessment strategy and the planning, and how the core is actually going to be assessed. And then going down to the animal care and management, we are working with the Institute and also providers and HT institutes as well about the inclusion of science content. So we are still working with this and in discussions, so I can't confirm anything else, but we are in discussions about that area. And then for equine care and management, due to all the feedback that we had from industry and employers, the Equine OS has now been split into two pathways. So there's a riding option and a non-riding option. All learners will complete the first three POs, which you say is the optimising physical and psychological well-being of horses, preparing horses for transportation, and then preparing horses for different types of work and competition. They then will complete one of the following pathways. You've got the non-riding pathway, which has PO4, which is preparing horses for breeding, and PO5, which is supporting horses recovery, recuperation and rehabilitation. Or they will pick the riding pathway, which is PO6, develop horses' performance on the flat, and then PO7, develop horses' performance over poles and fences. Moving on to trees and woodlands. Again, due to the feedback that we had from industry and from the employers, this occupational specialism has also been split into two pathways, one for forestry and then one for arboriculture. All learners who register onto the trees and woodland occupational specialism will complete PO1, which is grow trees and woodland, and PO2, which is operate and maintain forestry and arboriculture machinery. They will then complete one of the following pathways: forestry, which is PO3, managing woodlands to meet objectives, PO4, maintain woodlands to meet prescribed objectives, and then PO5, which is undertake complex felling operations. Or they will do arboriculture, which is PO6, manage tree populations to meet objectives, PO7, manage trees to meet prescribed objectives, or PO8, which is undertake complex arboriculture operations. Then we are also, the issues were raised from employers and industry about the requirements of chainsaw certificates of competence. We are in discussions with the Institute around the issues of the requirements for candidates to hold the chainsaw certificate of competence qualifications, and how this can actually be resolved. Once we have more to communicate on decisions being made, we will let everybody know, but the discussions are still going on. And then for habitat management, due to all the feedback that we had from industry, employers and providers, the development of this habitat management occupational specialism has been paused and is now under review by the Institute and their root panels. So once we have more updates on the progress of this, we will be in touch with everybody to let you know. But say the discussions are still ongoing, and say this is due to all the feedback that was received from industry, employers and providers. This slide shows you all the information that we have on our website for T-levels. The pages are up here. We do have specific pages for providers and then also for employers, but then also the learner information, resources, progression, higher education. These pages are updated regularly, so please keep referring back to me if you need any information. And then again, here's the link if you haven't signed up for being involved in the T-level development or to actually receive notification about updates that are happening. There is a link there for you to fill out your details so that you are actually able to receive those and be involved. So if you haven't already, please complete the link. And here is a slide which shows the update to the Landbased team. So I'm Sally, I'm the industry manager for Landbased T-levels. We also have my colleague Susie Brennan, who's the post-16 manager. We have Anne Rogers, who is new. She's our technical advisor for providers for Landbased T-levels. We've got Richard Burns, who's one of the lead development managers working on this. And then also we've now got Lindsay Smith, who's a lead development manager working with Rich on the development of the technical qualifications. And that brings you to the end to my update. I hope that everybody found that interesting and useful. As I said, any questions that have come through on the chat function, I will be answering offline, and then we'll also publish the FAQ document onto the website, but then also the link will be sent to everybody who joined the meeting today. If you do have any questions around T-levels after this, say please get in contact with us and we'll be able to answer those. And I will be holding another webinar probably around Easter time, when we have more updates as well about how the progression of the land-based T-levels and the technical qualifications. As I say, thank you everybody for joining today, and I hope you find that informative.